Hello friends, and welcome back to the second part of the air element. When we're talking about ozone, the first thing that comes to our mind is harmful gas that can damage our health, right? But ozone is also called the breath of God, and it's part of natural fresh air. So how it can be? You see, ozone is one of the incomprehensible elements in the air we breathe. At the same time, ozone can be loved and hated. On one hand, it's said to be a toxic, harmful gas and can cause lung damage. But on the other hand, it has the potential to be the best natural purifier. The truth lies in understanding the structure of ozone, its formation in nature and in polluted urban areas. While ozone is part of the smog around large polluted cities, ozone is also part of pure air in sunny fields and around waterfalls. You can actually smell the sweet smell of ozone after a thunderstorm passes by. So what is ozone? Ozone is enriched oxygen. Ozone can exist in active state for 20-30 minutes before it separates from one atom of oxygen and decomposes back to two atoms of oxygen. So where does ozone come from? Natural ozone comes from nature. The forest, green fields, and the plankton in the oceans, all of them produces oxygen. The oxygen that is light from air rises into the atmosphere where the ozone layer is. There, the oxygen encounters the photochemical energy in the form of ultraviolet rays, and the energy from those rays converts the oxygen from O2, two atoms of stable oxygen, to O3, three atoms unstable active oxygen, what we call ozone. In other words, ozone is formed from combining the activity of nitric oxide and ultraviolet rays from the sun, along with compounds of hydrocarbons emitted from trees, green vegetation, and the metabolic action of plankton. In fact, whatever in nature there are hydrocarbons, sun rays, and moisture, we can find ozone in one amount or another. In various places around the world that people visit for healthy vacations, we can find a high level of ozone. Also, ozone is created in nature with help of electric discharge during a thunderstorm. The same electric discharge creates the sweet smell that we associate with clean, fresh air. This is the same pleasant smell of laundry that has been dried outside on a sunny day. That's the smell of ozone. I want to simplify the process of ozone production in nature so that it's understandable to everyone. If we take three atoms of stable oxygen, split one of them, the two separated molecules will merge with the two remaining oxygen atoms and form two atoms of ozone, which is unstable active oxygen. Ozone is unstable gas with significant oxidizing and disinfecting properties. When it encounters other organic gases, it oxidizes them by attacking them with the excess oxygen molecule, and it returns to be a stable ozone atoms again. In urban areas, ozone is formed in two other important ways: nitrogen and UV rays, creating ozone, which help to reduce the intensity of the industrial chemicals emitted to the environment. The second way is related to formation of ozone from fuel used in cars, trucks, trains, and burners from industrial factories. There is ozone in places with high concentration of hydrocarbons, but also it helps break down naturalized toxic gases. This is why there is confusion among the population between the cause and effect, which raises the opinion that ozone is a source of the problem associated with smog, when to some extent ozone is just one chemical created by nature in the process of dealing with the man-made problem. The amount of chemicals involved in the process is huge, and the large amount of the various chemicals together with ozone is the real problem. In the article Ozone Monography, Toxicity and Evolution, it states about toxins that every chemical has a range of effects on biological system. The range can be from mild effect to a lethal effect. Every chemical has the ability to be toxic. Only the dose becomes significant. Too much of anything can be harmful to the biological system, and ozone is no exception. There is evidence to show that a very high concentration of ozone can be harmful. However, in case of smog, studies show that other compounds in smog, nitric oxide, sulfuric oxide, suspended sulfuric acid, nitric acid particles, and suspended hydrocarbons constitute the real health problem. Unfortunately, in discussions about air pollution, many attribute ozone to smog, and thus masking its positive natural properties in dealing with the problem of air pollution. The focus on smog as air pollution prevents us from seeing an even more serious problem: the quality of air inside our homes and workplaces. The same soup of chemicals which are found in the air around large and industrialized cities can be found in our living environment, in homes and workplaces. So, what is the source of indoor air pollution? The most common sources of indoor air pollution are: number one, the materials homes and offices are built from, and the furniture emitted dangerous chemicals such as formaldehyde and styrene. The sources are very diverse, ranging from gypsum boards to acoustic and decorative ceilings to carpets, furniture, and paints. Number two, chemicals we bring into our homes from clothes that have been dry cleaned and hydrocarbons that have been absorbed into our clothes from the outside. Number three, the cleaning chemicals we use. Number four, cigarettes we smoke and the 3,600 chemicals in it. Number five, organic leftovers from our pets, mice, cockroaches, etc. Number six, mold, mildew, and fungi grow everywhere without proper ventilation, like in basements, air ducts, and even on filters. It's interesting to know that all of these chemicals that cause so many problems in our indoor environment do not pose a problem outdoors in nature. For them to pose a problem, dosage should have a negative effect. Dosage is, of course, a function of concentration of toxins and the time of exposure to them. Even a low concentration of toxin will have a negative effect if the exposure time to it is long. For example, headaches have never been associated with moving to a new home or buying a new furniture, or a child who started to develop allergies due to exposure to chemicals from his newly painted bedroom. These changes in our environment began in the 1970s during the oil embargo around the world. Fuel prices have gone up, as well as energy prices for heating and cooling. To save energy, homes and workplaces were built airtight from the outdoor environment. As a result, the air is trapped and all of those chemicals remain circulating in the air. We also left the outdoor ozone, the element that purifies the air outside. Unless we artificially renew the level of ozone in our environment, we could be exposed to bacteria, viruses, mold, and fungus in our living places. Many studies have been conducted on the subject of ozone indoors. Here is a partial summary of them. With the introduction of ozone in the environment, a dramatic decrease in the number of bacteria was observed, mainly E. coli, Salmonella, Streptococcus, Staphylococcus, Candida, and more. In a series of studies published in 1976, researchers came to a number of important facts concerning the use of ozone in our indoors environment. They concluded that air loses its freshness mainly due to heating and cooling systems, which reduce up to 90% of the level of ozone and negative ions. The reduction of level of those elements causes headaches, weaknesses, and bad feeling in general. After a 5-month study with control groups, they found that the general feeling was better for those exposed to an ozone level equivalent to 15 parts per million. They also found an increase in immunity, higher blood oxygen level, improved blood pressure, and a reduction in stress associated with working in modern offices. The researchers found that staying in a place where the ozone level was no more than 15 parts per million gave an effect that was similar to that of walking in fresh air. In addition, a study was conducted by the Institute for Child and Youth Hygiene. The summary of the study showed that raising the level of ozone in classrooms to level of 15 parts per million gave a positive effect to students. 68% of the students who participated in the study completed the tasks that required high concentration in a shorter time. Moreover, positive changes in the respiratory function, an increase in thinking ability, and an overall increase in mental health and efficiency were observed. These results matches the results and practical evidence in the daily use of over 100,000 ozone generators in homes and offices in the US. The level of ozone production in these generators was between 3 to 50 parts per million. The reports shows decreased sinus-related disorders and decreased depression. Ozone has always been part of nature. The fact that ozone causes oxidation by attack with the single atom of oxygen is a great significance to life on Earth, both in medicine and toxic cleaning technology. For over 100 years, thousands of doctors, mostly in Europe, have used ozone as part of their healing program. Ozone can be a service for medicine by giving this extra atom of oxygen and returning to be a stable oxygen. It has been proven beyond any shadow of a doubt that ozone destroyed bacteria, viruses, fungi, and mold. And yes, the coronavirus and all its variants cannot live if there is a small amount of ozone. Ozone does it by attacking with its extra oxygen atom to cause oxidation. Thus, it burns without heat, light, or radiation. Most microbes are anaerobic organisms, which means they cannot live in an environment rich in oxygen and thus rich in ozone. Ozone is part of a number of compounds in fresh air. It was discovered in 1840 by a German scientist named C.F. Schonbein. In 1857, The first generator to generate ozone was discovered by a German scientist named Warren von Siemens. In 1870, the German physician Dr. Lender was the first to purify blood in a test tube using ozone. In 1880, the American physician John Kellogg was the first to use ozone in his clinic. By the way, for those who don't know, most doctors in the 19th century in America used natural methods for healing. Dr. Kellogg has a clinic in Battle Creek, Michigan. His clinic was famous all over the United States, and many of the healers of the time specialized in his clinic. The Netherlands was the first country where water was purified with ozone. Today, there are more than 3,000 water suppliers around the world whose uses ozone to purify the water. There are also ozone generators for use in swimming pools, jacuzzis, and spas. Ozone is also used in the food industry and more. Nowadays, especially in Europe, but also in other places around the world, medical-grade ozone gas is used to cure a very wide range of diseases, even the incurables. Unfortunately, the World Health Organization prevents widespread of ozone because of political reasons. If you happen to find a copy of the award-winning documentary movie Ozone and the Politics of Medicine, please watch it to enrich your knowledge in the subject. If living indoors without a small amount of ozone could promote the growth of pathogens in our living environment, can you imagine what can happen to our health, especially our mental health, when living without negative ions? I have a positive feeling that you would like to know about it. So, join me for the third part, and there you will find out the fundamental importance of the vitamin of air, also called negative ions. I will see you there. Bye-bye.